Before we discuss about the ecosystem, we will also have to understand what exactly the system is, because only then we will be in a position to understand how exactly the ecosystem functions. So any system has a component, and these components are arranged in a particular manner, and all these component has a linkages, and if you bring about any kind of change in the one component, then this change is going to get reflected in other component as well. So from this definition we can understand that every system has a first component, and these components are arranged in a particular manner. This is called as a structure of system, how exactly these components are arranged. Then third thing is that all these components has a linkages. So all these components are interlinked with each other, and if you bring about any kind of change in the one component, this change is going to get itself reflected in a other component as well. So from this definition we can understand what exactly the system is. You can understand this like, suppose this you have a one component, this you have another component, this you have another component, this you have another component. So all these components are arranged in a particular manner. This is called as a structure of the system, and all the components are interlinked with each other. So if you bring about any kind of change in the one component, then this change is going to actually bring the changes in this component as well, in this component as well, and in this component as well. So if you bring about any kind of change in one component, then this is going to affect the other component throughout the system. Now these changes can be positive, it can be negative. That is why every system try to actually remain in a homeostasis. Every system try to maintain the homeostasis with the help of some kind of feedback mechanism. These feedback mechanisms are of two types. So one type of feedback mechanism is negative feedback mechanism. Generally in the nature you have a negative feedback, because with the help of this feedback all the system try to maintain their homeostasis. For example, if our body is also one system, if you start suppose running, then the temperature of body will increase, and when the temperature of body will increase, then you will start sweating. When this sweat will get evaporated, then the lot of energy from your body will be used in the process of this evaporation, and that's how the temperature of body will decrease. So this is considered as a negative feedback mechanism, because this kind of feedback try to maintain the temperature of the body. But there are some positive feedback mechanism as well in the system. These type of mechanism try to aggravate actually the problem. These positive feedback mechanism always try to aggravate the problem. For example, you can understand this kind of mechanism with the help of global warming. Suppose if the global warming takes place, then lot of the ice cover is going to get melted. When this ice cover is responsible for reflecting the incoming solar radiation coming from the sun. When more and more actually this incoming solar radiation get reflected, this reflected radiation does not actually take part in the heating of atmosphere. That's why the temperature of atmosphere will remain less. But if because of the global warming, if this ice cap get melted and lot of land will be exposed, then this reflection of this incoming solar radiation is going to get decreased, and consequently the more amount of absorption will take place. That will again lead to the increase in the temperature of the atmosphere, and it will lead to the actually decrease in the ice covered area, and further actually this is going to increase the incoming absorption of incoming radiation coming from the sun. So this kind of mechanism will ultimately lead to even more global warming. So this is you have a what is positive feedback mechanism. Now we have to also understand the different type of ecosystem, because our ecosystem is considered as a open system, but we have a different type of ecosystem. Like we have a three types basically of ecosystem. That first is the closed system, then second is a open system, and third type of system is isolated system. This type of system we can understand with the help of some example. Like for example, if you have in the closed system, only the energy or the transfer of energy from the surrounding to the system or from the system to the surrounding area can take place. So suppose if you have one enclosed container, if this enclosed container, if you fill the warm water in this enclosed container, then you will find that after some period of time the temperature of this water is going to get decreased, because the energy will be transferred from this system to the surrounding. But the amount of water in this container will remain the same. So in this case, only the transfer of energy is taking place, but the transfer of matter from the system to the surrounding or from the surrounding to the system is not taking place. So that's why this kind of system is considered as a closed system. Then we have another isolated system. In isolated system, neither the energy nor the material can be transferred from the system to the surrounding or from the surrounding to the system. But this kind of system hardly exists in the nature. In this kind of system, if you fill this container, enclosed container, with the warm water, then you will find that even after a long period of time also the temperature of the water will remain the same. It is not going to get decreased. So in this kind of system, neither the transfer of energy from the system to the surrounding or from the surrounding to the system is taking place. Matter is also not being transferred from the system to the surrounding or from the surrounding to the system. So this kind of system is known as isolated system. But as I have said that these kind of system hardly exist in the nature. Then another type of system is open system. Open system you can understand, like suppose this is a vessel. In this vessel, if you fill this vessel with the water and if you start giving some amount of heat energy, if you try to boil it, then you will, suppose its temperature is right now is 10 degrees centigrade, and when you start giving heat energy, then this temperature is going to get increased. So ultimately it will increase to 20 degrees centigrade, then ultimately finally it will reach to the 100 degree centigrade, and then it will start getting boiled. So when it will start getting boiled, then lot of water will come out of this system in the form of water vapor. So after some period of time, you will find that in this kind of system, the amount of water that was present earlier in this vessels will also get reduced, because it will come out of this system in the form of water vapor. Then the transfer of energy in this system is also taking place, because when we are giving heat energy, then this temperature of the water is also increasing. So this is considered as an open system, because in this kind of system both the transfer of energy as well as matter is taking place. So now after having understood, we will discuss how our ecosystem is considered as why our ecosystem is considered as a open system, because in the ecosystem both the transfer of energy as well as matter takes place. So in the next class we are going to discuss about how exactly this our ecosystem is considered as a ecosystem, open system.